Hey girls, welcome back to All Things Plastics. I'm your host, Jalen, and today we're sitting down for a convo I know so many of you have been waiting for. If you've ever thought about getting breast implants, had complications, or wondered what happens when a revision doesn't go as planned, this episode is for you. I'm joined by Cheyenne, who's been incredibly open about her journey through 3 breast augmentations, capsular contracture, bottoming out, and finding the right surgeon after years of challenges. We're talking about the highs, the lows, and what she wishes she knew, and everything in between. Welcome, Cheyenne, to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, girl. Tell us a little about yourself. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
So I am from Gilroy, California. So that's Northern California by San Jose. And I'm 35. I'm a salon owner. I've been in the industry for almost 18 years. And I do hair full time. I'm super into fitness and jogs, and that's about it.
Yes, a fitness girly. I love all your fitness content. And then after your complications, you started to incorporate how to recover properly after getting a breast augmentation, after complications, but still how to work out, how to properly get all the nutrients you need. So we're definitely going to dive into that. Now, being from California, a Cali girl, did you always know that you wanted to get plastic surgery, or did that kind of develop over time?
No, I knew pretty young that I wanted to have plastic surgery, especially breast augmentation. I love boobs more than most things in life. I love small ones, big ones, any of them. And so when I was probably 5 or 6, I would stuff my bikini top with the little squishy pool toys that were balls. Yeah, so I put them in there and I was like, yes, when I'm 18, this is for sure happening. So as soon as I could do it, that was the first place I was spending my money.
Did your mom have a breast aug or a bigger boobs and you were like, oh my God, I want that too? Or how did you know the difference?
So my mom is super hippie. She never wore makeup, never was into anything. She didn't get into makeup and all of that until I did when I went to cosmetology school. So we learned together. But my mom and my aunts are built very different than me. And all the women in my family just had big, beautiful breasts. And I was the complete opposite. And I have very little body fat on my upper body. I never developed any type of boobs. I just always wanted them. I didn't feel self-conscious about it. I didn't get made fun of for being flat-chested, but I definitely stuffed my bra. I had it down, how to stuff it to make it look like I had something.
Stuffing the bra, whether it's with socks, tissue, you were using pool toys, girl, whatever works.
Yeah.
So you were okay, high school came around and you were once I turn 18, I'm getting these bad boys done. Did you get it around 18, or did you wait till your early 20s for your first breast augmentation?
I got my first one a week after I turned 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you go about because I know that's really young. I got kind of my breast aug around the same time, early 20s. I didn't do any research. A friend got it done and I was like, okay, girl, you got yours. You survived. So I'm going to go too. How did you find your surgeon and okay, I'm going to do this?
Yeah. So same thing. I didn't do any research. I didn't have any idea things could go badly or there could be really complications at that point, especially because that was 15 years ago. There wasn't social media. There wasn't botched. I think we were still MySpace and just getting into other things. And I didn't have Facebook or Instagram. So I did no research. My stepsister.
Oh, you were off the grid completely, girl.
Yeah, I didn't get social media until about 10 years ago.
Wow.
So yeah, I had no idea. So my stepsister got hers done after she had her first 2 children, and I loved hers. And I was like, perfect, take me to your girl. So she took me to her surgeon and I did the consultation and booked it. And I was stoked. I loved them. I didn't have any issue at that point that I knew that I didn't like them.
Now, you said your sister-in-law?
My stepsister.
Your stepsister.
Yeah.
When she went and got them done, did you let your parents know or anyone in your family, or was it just between you and your stepsister?
Oh no, my family knew. I come from they're, like I said, my mom's hippie. They're very open. We're free spirited. I grew up it was not an issue. So my mom always knew. She went with me to the consultation. She was pissed, but she went with me because she's like, okay, I just got to make sure you're not going and doing anything stupid that's going to jeopardize your health. So she was there grumpy, but she was there. But everyone knew. I told my whole family.
I love that. The open, she was mad about it. She was like, girl, but she still went with you. I love the support.
Yeah.
And do you remember how much your first breast augmentation cost 15 years ago?
Yes. So it was $8,000 and I paid cash. So I paid $7,000. I know some places, I don't think they do it anymore now, but back then it was they do? Okay.
Yes, they still do, girl, because the surgeons love the cash. They do. They don't want to deal with care credit. They don't want to deal with like a third party because then they get a fee and then they get their stuff later. So cash money, they'll give you a discount for using straight cash.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I did.
And from how soon from your consultation till you were on the table, how soon was that?
I want to say it was probably a month or two. I assisted doing hair, so I had to kind of wait until the guy that I assisted had proper help so that I could be off for a week. So I want to say I probably went and got my consultation in November, and then my surgery was January 3rd.
And were you prepped? Like, did you know what you were getting into? Did you know anything a little bit about recovery, post-op garments, like anything?
No, I didn't give a shit. I was like, put them in me, send me on my way. When can I flash people? And I was known for that. Like, I would be in bars and I would like pull my shirt. I'm like, you want to feel them? They feel great.
I
didn't care. I didn't pay much.
You were like, we'll figure it out when we cross that bridge. Like, throw them in and we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Now, with your first, because you've had 3 breast augmentations. I'm trying to keep our timeline in check, girl. And your first breast augmentation at 20 years old, was there any complications after surgery?
So I didn't have any complication as far as like bottoming out or like one being higher or lower. I did have an allergic reaction to my pain medicine. And so I lived alone at that time, and my boyfriend at the time was supposed to be taking care of me. And long story short, I woke up and was like puking all night. And so I thought it was an infection, but I went into my surgeon the next day and she just said, no, you're allergic to this. Gave me different meds and I was fine. I did though, and I'm not sure if it was a month or 2 or 3 post-op, I did wake up one morning and like my entire chest was covered in purple stretch marks. Like,
my goodness.
It looked like I got mauled by a bear. So much so that the guy that I assisted, he's very much about like skin and the way we look, right? I think my career is about that. And I went into work crying and I showed him and he canceled the day and took me to his dermatologist to start getting laser. And I did laser for a year or 2 years to get rid of them or minimize them because they didn't fully go away.
Yeah. And you said you woke up like 2 or 3 months later and you noticed, like you said, they were just like crazy stretch marks on your chest.
Yeah. I'm actually going back to my dermatologist on this Tuesday and I'm going to try to get the images so that I can show it, just because I didn't know that was a possibility and I didn't know how to like either prep my skin. I don't know if it's because I was so flat chested, and we did 425 high profile.
Yes.
So I don't know, if it was just like too much too soon, but it was definitely like I had no stretch marks that night and I went to bed and woke up and it was like crazy.
Yeah. And you say you're probably like, what, a 32A? Were you super flat?
I was pretty flat. Like there was no jiggling. I don't think there was shapes. There was like nips and like there wasn't much. That was about it. Yeah.
Because girl, 425, I have 405s, but I had some space to put the implant in. You went from nothing to 425s and a high profile. That you went big for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, poor thing. And you're still working to this day. But yeah, if you get those photos, send them over so I can throw them in and like show the girls.
Yeah, I will. Because I totally forgot about it. And then I was like, that's like a huge thing because I was so upset about it because I still, in a lot of the pictures that I have posted, you can see the stretch marks in them that I share. And those are probably from the original set.
Yeah. Now, you also had to deal with, unfortunately, capsular contracture. Was this due to your first surgery?
Yes. So my first surgery, I didn't know I had, and I did bottom out. I didn't know any of that. I think I was just happy to have boobs that I could care less. Like I didn't really pay attention to the shape or the way they sat. And then now looking back at photos, I can see that they had bottomed out. I didn't feel like the capsular contracture personally. Like I didn't have any pain. I couldn't feel that they were hard, but I was married at this point to my ex-husband and he wanted me to take them out. And so I went to my original surgeon and talked to her about having them removed. And that's when she was feeling them and she's like, oh, you have capsular contracture. And when she would squeeze them, I was like, oh, dear God, like that hurts.
And for the girls who are like, what is capsular contracture? It's pretty much when the scar tissue, which is also called capsules, that are naturally form around the breast implant, they become too tight, too thick, or hardened, and it like squeezes the implant. Sometimes it causes a lot of pain or discomfort. But Cheyenne, you said you didn't have any pain or discomfort.
No, not at all.
No. And the breast over time will become firm and hard. Did you notice that your breasts were becoming firmer or harder, or was that always the case since you went really big initially?
Yeah, I think it was always the case because I just don't have anything. So it's not like you're like if you feel my now they're the softest they've ever felt.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was because they were over the muscle. So it was literally just like skin and then like the implant. So they kind of always just felt like you were holding the implant you hold in the office.
Yeah. And sometimes capsular contracture can sneak up. It can happen weeks, it can happen months, or even years after the initial surgery. So when do you think about yours kind of kicked in? The capsules were beginning to become too hard.
So I want to say when I saw her, I was probably 23. So I'd only had them 3 years. And then when I got injured, when I had to get them fixed, I was 29.
Yeah. And then also they were bottoming out. Was this kind of a little bit after you found out about the capsular contracture, or was this about the same time?
It was later. So I didn't know that they bottomed out. I didn't really know what that meant until I had a surgeon later explain it. But I was going through all my photos prior to this revision. I was looking at like, okay, my first set, what'd they look like? And I was like, oh my God, they did bottom out because my nipple was like up here and the rest of the boob was down here. And I was like, well, that didn't know that.
Yeah, that breast pocket will stretch and then everything will fall and the supporting tissue just becomes too weak. And that's what we call bottoming out. And the implants just sit too low on the chest. Poor thing. Okay, so let's start. Take us on this journey. You got your first breast augmentation 3 years later. You went to go see the doctor. You were thinking about taking them out, but you didn't take them out.
Yes. So my ex-husband wanted them out. I did not want them out. And I do talk about this a little bit on my social media.
Yeah.
Just kind of women that I think could struggle with people pleasing. And I think a lot of the decisions I made in my 20s was out of being shamed for the way that I looked.
Did he have a reasoning of like why he wanted them out? I mean,
yeah.
What did he tell you? How did that conversation go?
So we're on really good terms. He knows that I talk about everything, but basically he was a pastor's son and we were both working on getting our pastoral licenses. And so we were on stage and in the congregation and there was complaints about the way that I look. Yeah. And it was just too much. And I didn't dress like now it's like I have them out because I can, but back then I was covered, but I still, my hair was too long. I had the tattoos. My body was too considered provocative for the church. And so it was, I think mostly out of both of us feeling ashamed and not because it was like a preference on how I want to feel physically in my own skin.
Now, after that, you were considering taking them out, you didn't. You actually got a revision. And is that after you left your husband or was that during? What was that timeline?
So that was down the road. Me and him split up when I was 24. So it didn't last very long. And then I was so glad that I kept them. And then when I got my revision, I had just turned 29 when that happened. So it had been 5 years.
Yeah. And so you had your initial implants for close to a decade, 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that second surgery when you were like, okay, I want to go in. I want to get these fixed. This needs to change.
So I actually wanted to go bigger. Yes. Right.
That's always the case, girl. That's always the case. More girls always go bigger rather than smaller.
Yeah. and especially because I think that I wasn't accepting of my anatomy and the way that my body looks. And I even had a chiropractor who assessed me one time and he was like, do you have headaches? And I was like, I get really bad migraines. I have I'm hunched over. And he's like, you have no business having implants this big. And I was like, oh, I'm going bigger. And he's like, no, you're not. And I was like, yes, we want them.
You're
big.
Watch me.
Yeah. So I had planned on going to Hochstein whenever I was going to get them redone. That was my goal. But I hadn't had a time frame in mind. And then when I was 29, I went to a party with my cousins and they're all collegiate wrestlers and they're just really big guys. And one of them walked up, he was drinking, he picked me up to kind of give me a hug. And we were side to side and all of my body weight and then him pulling me put my pec or chest, whatever implant against his body. And we both felt it pop. Yeah. And so he felt it. He immediately put me down and he was like, what did I do to your boob?
You went in to hug him and your implant popped.
Yeah. So I went as excruciating
Cheyenne.
pain.
That is wild work.
Yes.
And so what did you do? Did you go to the ED?
No,
I would be freaking out.
I'm pretty low key when it comes to pain. I have a really high pain tolerance. I also my parents did not take us to the doctor unless it was very life threatening. So I left the party, I went home and I was just like, oh, it's sore, but it'll go away. And I want to say I've had other things happen with that where I would kind of one would get sore if I laid on it weird, but then it would go away. And so I was like, it's going to go away. It's fine. And then it progressively every day and week got so bad that
Worse.
it was my left one, and I would wear a sling to work because I couldn't, if this arm moved at
Oh
all,
my
I couldn't breathe.
goodness.
And then
Girlfriend.
my clients would laugh at me because I like to laugh a lot when I'm at work, and
Mm-hmm.
I would be telling them a story and I'd go to laugh and I could not laugh because it was so painful. So I'd be like, and like they made, they're like, you have to go to the doctor.
Girl, you needed to go to the ED 4 weeks ago. You're rolling around with this sling because your left implant is who God knows what. Poor, and you're over here like suffering.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so finally you went to the doctor and they were like, girl, we got to take these out. You need a revision. What's going on?
So once I basically figured out that it wasn't getting better, I had called my original surgeon and wanted to get in with her. And I had scheduled multiple consultations and I let them know I'm like in excruciating pain. I'm not able to work. Like I need something done ASAP. And they kept basically canceling my appointments with her and just said she was traveling. She wasn't going to be in. And so after the third or fourth time, I was like, I can't wait. So
Yeah.
I reached out to some people I knew and they referred a surgeon to me, and I went and had a consultation with him. He said that I had really bad capsular contracture and that the pain I felt was the capsule ripping from my muscle. That is what he said.
Yeah, the scar tissue probably just became so weak that it just detached from your pec muscle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So how soon were you able to get back on the table and get that first revision?
So I waited 6 weeks before I saw him. And then I think I had my consultation. And then I was in for surgery 3 weeks later. So I want to say I almost went like 10 weeks in pain.
That's a long time.
It was
to be
awful.
And you're using your arms as a hairstylist. Like it's hard to work with one hand, one arm. I'm sure it's doable, but like you need both of your hands.
Yeah. It was rough.
Oh my God, girl. Were you so devastated? Like, were you like, what is happening right now?
I was really bummed because I did want to go to Hochstein originally. And so at that time, I couldn't take the time off because I lived alone. I had my own studio and I didn't have anyone to fly to Florida with me. My mom's terrified of flying. So she's like, I'm not fucking going. So
no.
So I didn't have anyone. So I was like, screw it. Like, I'll get them done again. Right. So I will just go here. And I felt like I had hesitation, but I was in too much like urgency to be out of pain to process potential issues from.
You were just like, let's get this shit done. Like this implant is bottomed out. The tissue's ripping from the muscle wall. Like I want this fixed. How did you find that surgeon in Florida? Did you do a little bit of research at least, or anyone that's specialized in revisions?
So the surgeon that did this revision when I was 29, he was local. So he was in the Bay Area. I didn't go to Florida. I went to Florida for Hochstein the third time.
But the
second time was also in the Bay.
This second surgeon though, how did you find him? Just word of mouth or Google search or what?
Yeah, I just asked a lot of the girls that I grew up with and that are in my industry that work for plastic surgeons or are like nurses and kind of in that, because I feel like I refer a lot of people to eyebrow girls and nail girls. And so I reached out to like injectors and girls that I knew in the field and was like, who do you recommend? And they all spoke really highly of the surgeon that I ended up going with.
Okay. And how much did you pay for that first revision, girl?
Okay.
Do you remember?
Yes. So it was, I want to say it was $18,000 I got a lift.
Okay.
And then I had the capsulotomy and then them replaced, but I paid $22,000 because he talked me into getting a lower bleph, which to me, I'm a very positive person. So even though that whole surgery down here was not what I wanted, I got a lower bleph and I loved it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to chalk that one up as a win. It's okay. We can't win them all. I won this. Yeah.
Okay, wait. And how did we go from you're in your consultation, you're focused on your breasts, like you're bottoming out, shit's detaching from the wall, but also like, what do you think about my under eyes? How the hell did you bring that up, Cheyenne?
So I didn't even bring it up. So when I went to him originally, in the consultation, I'm like, I just want them bigger and I'm going to give him, I'm very fair. So like, I will give him this. He was uncomfortable with going bigger. He didn't explain to me at all like why it wasn't a good idea to go bigger. He just was like, you're kind of tiny. I don't want to go that big. And it was kind of left at that. But he did say like, you need a lift. Let's do a lift. And I was very against a lift because I didn't want the scars. I was like, I already had the stretch marks. I'm like, I don't want to add. I got them going this way. I don't need them going this way. And like, so I was like, let's just like keep the lines linear and like matching.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He kept talking me into it. And then my mom was with me and he kept looking at her and looking at me. And then he's like, do your eye bags bother you? And I was like, well, now that you bring it up, like,
see, I got a bone to pick with some surgeons that do this, especially when it's a whole different area. You came in for your body and now they're talking about your face. Thankfully, I work with a lot of surgeons who don't do that. You come in and we focus on the area you want to improve. We don't sit there and be like, oh, okay, your breasts are bottoming out, whatever, we'll get you a lift. Also, what about those eye bags? I'd be like, excuse you. Did you kind of feel offended or were you like, actually, wait?
No, I don't get offended very easy. I think that's also why I've been able to post so publicly about it because I don't. So to me, I was actually always very insecure of my eye bags just because I hated being asked, like, are you tired? Or like, do you not feel good?
And if you ask someone if they're tired, that's pretty much saying like, you look ugly as shit today. Like,
yes. So imagine that like all growing up. And it's my nationality. And that's kind of what he said. He was looking at my mom and he's like, what's your guys' like nationalities? And we told him and he was like, well, he explained it and he's like, it's a fat pocket or bag pretty much. And he's like, it's just going to continue to get bigger as you get older. Yeah. And my mom, bless her heart, again, he tried to talk her into it too, but she had big ones. My grandpa, who's my mom's dad, his wore huge. And then my dad's same, just the same nationalities on both sides. And they were everyone's were big. And I was like, yeah, cut those babies out. Thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, so I understand the price now with the new implants, removing the capsules, the lift, the bleph. Okay, the math is mathing now, girl. Surgery and recovery go, your first breast aug revision.
So that one was miserable. I said I have a super high pain tolerance. I was very unwell. I was told the day of surgery that it was going to last around 3 hours. And I don't remember how many hours I was under, but I want to say it was like over 6, maybe closer to 7. And
he probably got in there and there was so much like scar tissue that just to remove them. And then if he took his time with sewing, like the fine stitching and then the bleph and so forth. Did they do a fat transfer to your under eyes? Did they do lipo a little bit and then transfer some fat? No, they just did the bleph. Okay.
Yeah, they just took it out. Yeah. And so you're all whoopty after. And so I got home and that's when I started to kind of wake up and I was walking around my house and I'm like, why is it dark? And I like looked and it was like 10 p.m. and my surgery was at 10 a.m. that morning. So it was a really long day. Yeah. And then my first surgery I felt like after like 2-3 days, I was good to go. Like I was totally fine. And then this one, I was like down for like 8 days, like just very uncomfortable, in a lot of pain, couldn't go out of the house. Like it was rough.
This one took a toll on your body, definitely. And plus you were under anesthesia longer. You got a lot more done. Yeah, definitely. That's reasonable. And then girl, the revision, that needed another revision. What happened after you got your lift and everything? Like you had to go back and get a third breast augmentation.
Yes. So
Cheyenne girl.
This one, so in the second one that I had when I was 29, I had it done a week before lockdown and COVID.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I think I had a lot of people commenting on my post, like, why didn't you get that fixed right away? I would have got it fixed right away. And I'm like, I had every intention, but like once the world kind of turned upside down, like the last thing I cared about was like my boobs. I'm like, I'm trying to keep my job. I'm trying to keep my house. I'm trying to like run my business. Yeah. And just not lose your mind because it was such a weird time for all of us. So I went from being super upset to just putting it in a box and being like, that's not for now to deal with. But because it was locked down, go ahead.
Wait, but how soon from your second surgery did you know that like, shit, I think I need another revision. Something's not right.
The first week he took my bandages off. Yeah.
Shut up.
The whole thing was kind of weird. I went to get them off. I had my appointment time and they just moved me from like room to room. And I think I waited for like over 2 hours to see him. And then he took the bandages off and he's like, looks great. And he left. And that was it. No one helped me put a bra on. Nobody helped. Like it was nothing. And I remember when I looked in the mirror, I was like I instantly started crying because they looked better, obviously, than the ones that he had just done because they were bottomed out in like the capsules. But it didn't look like I had them done. The lift wasn't lifting. They had a weird shape. My nipple or my areola was like very crooked. Like when I got the last one done with Hoxine, they're like perfect round. These ones were like all over.
Did he do a lollipop lift? So did he go around the areola and then a line down the middle?
Yeah.
And your areolas they were doing different things.
Yes. Yeah.
No, Cheyenne.
So yeah, I went back after and I was like, I'm really unhappy. And I basically was going in every week and pretty much saying like, what are we going to do? This is not what I wanted. Doesn't look right. And he kind of kept saying, just wait and see how they settle, which I do understand. Like it needs
Because
time to settle.
And you can't even get on the table that early. You can't go back into the OR. Yeah.
Yeah. So after we talked more and time went on, he was like, I was like, why don't I have any cleavage on top? Like they look exactly the same, like the other ones that were bottomed out. And he said that the only way I could ever have cleavage on top would be to do a fat transfer. And then he's like, you're too skinny to do a fat transfer. So you would have to gain this much weight and then we could do it, which was frustrating to me. Not that I would need that, but because it wasn't discussed prior, like, oh, you lack body fat. So maybe gain some weight so we can use it.
Yeah.
I just thought that was something you would know when you did the initial consultation.
Yeah.
So,
oh my goodness. Oh, I hate that. I feel so bad for you. And so you waited, what, 6 months, 8 months? How long did you end up? I know you said COVID hit, so you really couldn't do anything about it. And obviously priorities. How long did you have to wait till your third surgery? And this time you went with Dr. Hodgson.
Yeah, I waited 6 years.
So you suffered and waited 6 years until you got this third breast augmentation, this revision.
Yeah.
My goodness. Did that like take a toll on like your physical, like being in relationships or wearing cute shirts or bras or going out?
No, because again, I didn't see the issue that I saw after they were fixed, right? I think that like when it's your body, you're kind of just like, I just thought this is how implants look on me. So at no point did I like realize that they could look better. So I was just very used to them and I self-conscious because people stared, but I thought they were staring just because they were so big and in their face and like very visibly fake. But I didn't know, like now I'm looking back and like, they're probably like, girl, like you need to get those
going
bigs.
on?
Why do you have baseballs on your chest?
Not baseball, Cheyenne. Okay, wait. You make such a good point because a lot of women get surgery, whether like lipo, BBL, a tummy tuck, whatever it is, they recover, they start posting online or they go to the beach, whatever, they show off their skin a little bit more. People start looking or commenting things and they just assume like, oh, well, this is the surgery. This is how the surgery looks on my body. And then when people start commenting or saying things in person or online, they're like, wait, like, what do you mean? Like, this shouldn't look like this? Or what do you mean? And then they start doing their research and they're like, oh, wait, holy shit. Like, I'm botched. This isn't how this is supposed to fucking look. Oh my goodness. So 6 years, that's wild. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I definitely would not have, well, I shouldn't say I wouldn't have waited because it was just timing. I opened my salon in 2020 and I was very focused on that. And then I wrote my book in 2022 to like 2024. So it was just kind of, I just put it on the back burner and I was like, I'll do it next winter and then next winter. And then it just kind of kept happening and I just kept pushing it off.
And then what finally made you like bite the bullet? Like, okay, I'm going to fly to Florida. I'm going to go see Dr. Hodgson. Like, what was like the final decision? Like, we got to go.
So we planned it, like I said, every winter we were like, it's happening. And I would talk to them. I would email Dr. Hodgson's patient care coordinator and I'm like, okay, give me dates. And then it just never worked. So this time I had spent the last like 5 years really trying to get my body into the shape that I always wanted it to be. And that obviously takes years. And so through that process, I think that I took a lot of videos of myself, right? Because I started posting on social media and I'm like, it looks weird. Like it looks uncomfortable. And then I was like having conversations with myself and I'm like, Cheyenne, are you uncomfortable? And it was more the physical pain of it that I don't know if I ignored it or as I started to work out more, I was a lot more in tune with my body,
with your body.
And like, the way things felt. And I was just like, this feels like it's tearing my skin. And I would be at the gym and like my husband would always just like walk by and he's like, babe, like your bolt-ons, they're just like, it's just really, they're sticking out. Like, because I had gotten in such good shape that I felt like then it was like all you were staring at was them because they looked so weird because it did look like two objects just on my body.
Yes. Like your implants were not kind of flush with your skin. It literally looked like two, like you said, baseballs just sitting there. There's no blend in. I feel like when you start working out and you start focusing a little bit more on your health and looks and wellness and all these things and you become more in tune with your body, you start to realize like, oh, actually, like I've been putting this on the back burner. Like this needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
And so this is your third breast augmentation, second revision. What made you trust him with such a complex revision? Like, because you had to really trust this surgeon because, honey, you did not want to do this again. That's a lot of surgeries and a lot of money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's funny because my husband was like, we're not going to Florida, Shy. Like, that's ridiculous. We're not flying all the way to freaking Florida and paying for a hotel for a week and doing all of that just to get them done. Like, you can find someone here. And so to respect him and like mutually do the work, I did a bunch of consultations with surgeons that are like all over the area.
Mhm.
And doing that was really interesting because I would get so much feedback from them. And one thing I started to notice was like a lot of hesitation and like excuses from them prior, like almost setting me up for like, don't be excited because it's probably not going to look that good, or you're going to have more issues if I fix it. And they were trying to talk me out of things. And I think that that was a really big deal for me because of the last surgeon. I felt like
That was
pushed
your
me
red
into
flag.
the lift. Yeah. So as soon as they would try to talk me into something or talk me out of something, I was like, no,
You got the ick. Yeah.
yeah. And so with Dr. Hochstein, I followed him for a very long time. I think one of my clients had gotten hers done and all of her friends went as well. And they did that when I was like 27 or 28. And so I followed his work for a long time. And I was like, every single girl they post, I was like zooming in, going on her Instagram, looking at the way her boobs look when she had her surgery, how they look in bikinis, how they look when they're working out, and just kind of how they settle. And for me, I love his style. I know it's probably not for everyone, but when I looked at other surgeons, if I ever saw a pair that I was like, I wouldn't really like those on me, then I was like, not going to them. And so he was the only surgeon that I never saw a pair that I was like unhappy with.
You like them all.
I liked them all. And then talking to him was very different than talking to other surgeons. And I think some people could take it bad or good. He's very direct and he's very to the point and he's very fast, which to me, I liked. And I can see where other girls are like, oh, I want bedside manner and I want to like
they need a lot more hand holding. Yes. And I always tell the girls, if you want hand holding, but this surgeon's good, but you don't like their bedside manner, you're going to have a tough time post-operatively. So you might as well find a surgeon that you like and who will hold your hand because it won't work out.
And so I'm very direct and to the point. And so I liked that with him. He didn't try to talk me into anything else. He didn't try to tell me like, you can't have this or I'd rather do this. He was very focused on what I wanted and nothing seemed to faze him, which made me feel very comfortable with him because he wasn't, the other surgeons were like, oh my God, this is a really complicated case. Like you have a lot of issues here. And he was just like, yep, nope, I can do it. Like
he's like, I've seen this before. We're going to get it done. Like, come on, girl, let's get you fixed up.
Very unfazed, which I was like, thanks the Lord.
Now with Dr. Hodgson, how much did this third surgery cost you?
This one was 18.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I did the lift, the implant exchange. I went from on top of the muscle to under the muscle. And then I got the internal mesh bra.
Okay. Love the internal mesh bras. Oh my God. Like they are the best thing ever. And this recovery and this surgery, this third one, was it your most difficult recovery yet? Or was this kind of smooth sailing for you?
No, it was so freaking easy. I prepared myself to be like jacked up because I was like, okay, if my last one was bad.
You had PTSD from the last surgery, girl.
Yeah. I was like, this one's going to take me out. And I prepared my husband. I was like, look, I'm a mess. Like when I come out of anesthesia, I'm yelling. I throw up. I'm trying to fight people. Like I don't wake up for a couple days. Like I'm like incoherent. And I like warned him for like the worst. And when I came out of surgery, I was like, woke up on my own, totally fine, totally awake. Like the other surgeries, I had to be woken up and it took a while. Like the nurses and my mom were always like, Cheyenne, like wake up,
well,
wake up.
That second one, you were under for 6-8 hours and all that propofol and all the meds and narcotics, you're probably zonked out.
Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah.
So this one, my husband said I was in and out. I woke up feeling great. The nurses were walking around checking on everyone, which to me, I had told his patient care coordinator, I was like, I don't really do well with like people touching me that I don't know, especially coming out of anesthesia. I was like, I am kind of aggressive. I do want to fight. I don't want help putting my clothes on. Yeah. Because the last two, my mom's like, girl, you were like feral in there with the nurses. And my mom's like, they're like, I remember hearing them be like, Wendy, like, Cheyenne's freaking out.
Yeah.
So I feel like they respected that a lot. So they gave me my space and I had my eyes open and I was kind of moving around. And one of the nurses was like, okay, like, how are you feeling? Good? Like ready to go to your husband? And I was like, yeah. And I started to stand up. She's like, no, let me like put you in a wheelchair. And I was like, no, I feel good. And they wheeled me out, but I was totally coherent. The only thing I had was like the shakes.
Yes,
and then
normal.
I had like the burning, which I think was like my lift incisions.
Yes.
But other than that, I was totally fine. I did take pain meds the first day because my husband was like, they told me to give you these at this time. So I didn't nap at all. I was up around walking. I ate completely normal and I didn't take any pain meds the following day and I never needed pain meds or sleeping meds or anything.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What night and day experience.
Yeah.
Like totally different. Ugh. I'm so glad that like, hey, third time's a charm. I'm sad it took you 3 times to get the look that you wanted. And but I'm so happy that it went well for you. And yes, by law, they do have to roll everybody out. No one is allowed to walk out of the surgery center, whether you're good or you're bad. Everyone has to get rolled out by law.
Yeah, I assumed that. She's like, no, come here.
Yeah, God forbid if you fall and it's we're all in trouble. We're getting sued. It's a whole thing, baby. So you're getting rolled out. Oh my goodness. Now, you are such an open voice about talking about breast augmentations and especially breast revisions online. You have gone viral, girl, for your epic before and after. Take us on that journey, like when you started posting about your breast augmentation and when it started to like take off.
So it took off before I planned on posting anything about it. I have my hair Instagram page and I always wanted to start a fitness one and one that like I could talk about like my book and the things that I've been through and just like overall like mental wellness and physical, all the stuff I've learned. And I started this page in January and within
of this
2
year.
weeks of this year. And within 2 weeks of posting, I went viral for my junk. I thought people loved me. Like I remember my first viral post because I was just posting workout videos. And I remember like the first one went viral and I was like, yay, people love me. I'm going to do great. And then like I read the comments and I was all, okay. Like that's just one video. Here? Yeah. Like I'm like, it's one video. Like they'll get used to me. And then it just continued. And all of my videos were going over 1 million views and it was 98 to 99% was just people talking about my effed up implants, which were the previous ones. And I had my appointment with Hochstein planned for February. The first week, it was February 5th. And so I wasn't going to address it. And then I was like, you know what? Like people are going to be confused because they're going to know like I've been viral for the old ones. And then they're going to see like they're gone. I didn't want to like not share that with my audience. So I just planned on doing like one single like got fixed and like moving on. I didn't
one
have
little story time.
Yeah, I didn't have the intention of continuing to share about it. But when I was going viral, I was getting all like the hate. Like I got crazy hate comments. But then my inbox was like flooded with women that are like, "Hey, girl, like I need help. I need your advice. Like what?" And then I was like, "There's obviously like a need for this, and it's not talked about probably because so many like I have people telling me to go kill myself. Like like nobody cares." And so that was why I started posting about it is because I saw like my inbox and how many women like also needed help.
Resonated with your story and suffer from capsular contracture and bottoming out or going to a botched surgeon. So I love that you continue to share, even though it's probably been hard because there's so many negative, nasty people on the internet who write stupid comments and don't think about other people's mental health. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? And it's like, were you so scared? Probably not because you're really strong-minded, but like, it's a vulnerable journey to share on the internet and to share online. Were you a little hesitant on some posts?
No. So the only things that really happened, so my first one that went viral, I didn't have hurt feelings at all about like about the comments about my implant. I initially was really overwhelmed because I obviously have goals with my page and to work with brands. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are these brands going to now not want to work with me?
Like, are you brand safe?
Yeah, because I'm allowing all these like negative comments. So for the first couple viral posts, I was going and trying to like hide like the really graphic ones or like really inappropriate ones, right? And so I tried to put in like the words and like I was spending a lot of time trying to fight the bad comments.
The shitty battle.
Yeah, but I wasn't ever really heard about it. And then it's actually funny because like I said, I got social media 10 years ago. I don't consume a lot of it. So I remember I got a bunch saying like, this is like clickbait or rage bait. And I was like, I didn't even know what that was. I literally went into like ChatGPT and I was like, what's rage bait? And they like, ChatGPT explained it. And I was like, oh, I guess I could see, but like, no, it's not. Like, this is my body.
These were my real breasts. Yeah.
I can't remove them to go film a workout video for you guys. Sorry. Oh, and then girls were like, I would wear a t-shirt. I would never wear a sports bra. And I'm like, I would be in here in pasties if I could. That's how much I don't give a shit. But like, I have to be covered in the gym. So I would be pasties. So I wasn't ashamed, but I was more just like, how do I do it in a way that is like respectful to everyone, like surgeons and females going through it and to brands and make it like polished and professional and not clickbaity and rage baity because that was, I had to like navigate that. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to look like this influencer who just posts rage bait crap. Like you want to keep it educational. Of course, we want viral posts. So like you make it a little like, oh my God, like, wait, what? And then, but you do a lot of educational content. You show a lot of your before and afters. You show all the fitness stuff. So I think it's a good mix, definitely.
Thank you.
And like, obviously, you're very active in the gym. You've been for a long time. How did multiple breast surgeries kind of affect your workouts and your fitness journey?
The first pair, okay, so the over the muscle ones both were really difficult for me because I was a runner. I played soccer and I did track and cross country. And so through my 20s, I used to race half marathons and I ran usually like 5 to 10 miles a day. So I had to wear 2 or 3 sports bras to be able to go on my runs because when they're over the muscle and they were so heavy.
And you had those 425s, girl. Those things were going.
My second ones were 485 ultra high profile.
She said ultra.
Yeah. So I had to like keep them strapped in. And so that was incredibly painful and frustrating when you go run and you're like, I'm going to enjoy this run, but you're trying not to think about like, I'm like, are they going to rip out of my skin? Like, could that happen? Like,
seriously, honestly.
So that was frustrating. Then once I was like weightlifting more, they didn't bother me except for the second ones that I had. I used to have like nip slips and just like things popping out. And my husband even said, because like his exes had them and he's like, I don't know what's wrong with yours, but he's like, they look like they're just floating in your skin, like they're just gonna fly out. And so it was weird because normally if you like bounce, they bounce like together. Those ones were like do like,
oh my God.
When I walked, like they were just all over. So when I was lifting, I would constantly be like, are they in? Are they in? Are they popping out?
Yeah. Okay, wait. Your first 2 surgeons didn't explain to you over muscle versus under muscle?
Nope. I think I had said in my post, because I had girls ask, like, why would you even do over the muscle? And I'm like, they never said anything. I think my first surgeon just said, I'm doing over the muscle because you're an athlete. And I was just like, okay, like she knows, like, what do I know? I'm not going to argue.
Yeah. But if you have such minimal breast tissue to start with, which in your case you did, honestly, going under the muscle looks more natural with someone with less breast tissue. So it's like, my goodness, that's so annoying.
They didn't talk about like, oh, you could bottom out or they're too heavy for your skin. Like
these are things.
Yeah, no conversation. My second one, I honestly don't remember if he like asked me like, do you want under the muscle? Do you want over? Like, I would imagine it was more of like, you don't have a problem with them over the muscle that you verbalized to me. So I'm just going to like put them over the muscle. I don't really remember that. But yeah, I would have people ask even after my revision, my second one, they'd be like, oh, are yours under the muscle? And I'd be like, yeah, I think so. Like, I didn't even know.
You didn't even know,
until,
poor thing.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. I did not.
Yeah, that makes me so irritated. That they didn't even explain or give you the option or even in your case, talk about these complications that can occur.
Yeah.
Now, after that third breast aug, how long did it take before you can actually like lift confidently again in the gym?
So I was cleared at 6 weeks to go back and do everything except for no chest exercises, which I was okay with because I've never been into working out chest. That was more of a weird personal thing, again, because I don't have any breast tissue and I don't have any body fat. So to me, I was like, I don't have like chest muscles where you can see all my bones. Like, I just thought it was going to be a weird look. So I never did chest. I did get cleared to go and I went back at 6 weeks and I took it really slow.
Okay.
It didn't start feeling like completely comfortable with like heavy lifts and like dead hangs and pull-ups until like where I'm at right now, which is like now I'm at over 6 months, but I would say around 4 or 5 months, I felt like my strength and being comfortable with heavy lifts really just like took off.
Good. But
I think it had to do a lot with the internal bra more than like
the mesh.
Yeah, just because I had other clients who had it and they're like, yeah, it takes a little bit for it to like
longer to settle in. Yeah. And you're 6 months post-op, correct? Roughly?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And how are you feeling like this whole journey? You finally have the breast aug that like you've been wanting. It took a long journey, a lot of roads to get here, but now you're finally here. You're healing beautifully. You're back in the gym. You're making great content. Like, how has all this been for you?
It's been great. I actually was talking to someone before we started this and they were kind of asking me about my experience with Hochstein and the whole everything. And I was just like, you know, when you go on a vacation and you're like, you come home and you're like, it was so good. I wish I could go back and do it again.
Aww.
That weirdly is how I feel with this last revision because everything about the experience was just so great from start to finish. And like him and his team, like I still talk to all of the girls there that I talked to then, like Jen, his patient care coordinator she's very, very like motherly and loving. And so I think they're a good team because he's very like to the point, practical, logical. And then she's over here like, come here, like, what do you need? I love you.
She
like,
makes up for his,
Yeah. And so I loved getting to go to Miami, and I made sure I got like a hotel right on the beach because I was like, look, the ocean's healing. I want to sit in the sun and like heal that way with like nature versus like coming home and sitting in my house during winter. And so I loved it. And I think that the whole kind of experience and allowing myself to like really recover, really take time off work. I went and did hyperbaric O2. I did red light. I was getting lymphatic drainage massages. So I took it so seriously that I felt like this whole process like healed me of the last two. And I think the last two, I put a lot of shame on myself for not being smarter and more thorough with my research. But I think a lot of it, I also chalked that to being like, you just don't deserve like good things, or you just don't deserve for these experiences to go well for you, which is like obviously like self-talk and stuff like that. And so this time I felt like was really healing because I was like, I got the boob god, which, you know, I think he is. And it was just such a good experience. I had my husband who took crazy good care of me, and we got like so close over it. It was just a very healing experience for me.
You definitely deserved that whole experience. And I'm glad that you took it serious. And a lot of women just, oh, it's just a breast aug. Oh, it's just a nose job. But no, like we really need to take this serious. It's our bodies, and it's not just our physical looks. It takes a toll on our mental, our emotional, our physical, our spiritual, everything. And I'm glad you did it right the third time around. It took you a little bit longer, but you did do it right eventually. And I'm so glad, like you said, it almost made up for the other two surgeries.
Yeah.
And I also love your post about nutrition before and after surgery. You're trying to educate the girlies, talking about the protein and the hydration. With your first two surgeries, did you kind of prioritize your protein and your supplements, or did that come around on your third surgery as well?
No, my first two surgeons never said a word about nutrition, never said a word about how to prep for surgery. I never got instructions, like not a thing, not a single thing.
And so girl,
when I scheduled with Dr. Hochstein, his patient care coordinator sent me, it's like a 27 or 30 page like packet, and it has all this information. They tell you like which hotels to stay at that are within their area, you know, all those things. And I read through it, and it had a lot about nutrition and how to prep for surgery and how to continue eating after surgery. And it was just like crazy detailed. And I was like, wait, what? And I'm like, I love this shit. No one ever told me. So then I deep dove on my own and really did a lot of research so that I could go into surgery in the best like physical and mental shape, but also like prepare my body for healing. And then I made sure that like we did that after. So when me and my husband flew into Miami, the first thing we did, well, I had my pre-op, but we went to the grocery store, and we were meal prepping the night prior to surgery. We were like making chicken, turkey, like getting everything ready so that I could make sure that I was like optimizing my healing by giving myself the nutrition that it needed.
Beautiful. And especially with revision cases, with your scar tissue, with your lift, with all the things, like you definitely had to prioritize your nutrition and your supplements and your post-op treatment. So that's so good to hear. I love how you prep the night before, like having all your meals in place is less brain work the next day, or when you're trying to recover, you just want to recover. You don't want to think like, what should I order? What should I make? What do we have in the fridge? Like it's just all ready to go for you.
Yeah.
Were there any supplements after your recovery that helped you? Any bromelain, any arnica, anything that you took?
I did arnica. And then once I was cleared, which I want to say was like 2 weeks, I did the BCP peptide.
Okay.
For healing. And I felt like that like helped a lot, because once I started doing that, then this is 2 weeks or 4 weeks after, I can't remember what it was, but I noticed like my swelling was going down, and I noticed like everything started to speed up a lot with that. And then I was taking, I want to say it's the Ritual, and I was taking the one with iron prior to surgery and then after.
And how did you do your own research on supplements, or did the surgeon kind of provide you in that packet with some info?
No, they provided it. Like I mean, I did my own research, but they give you a list of like everything you should get prior to surgery, when to start taking things, when to like stop taking things, like all of that.
Yeah. And girls, green flag, making sure if your surgeon doesn't give you a packet or anything about pre and post-op readiness and recovery and treatments, that's a red flag if they do not give you that. Because each surgeon, private practice, outpatient surgery center, whatever it is, they need to give you all that information. So if you're not getting that, red flag, go somewhere else. And do you think being like physically fit before surgery helped you heal as well? Did that play a part?
Yeah, I was really focused. I told my husband, I was like, I'm going to get in the best shape possible prior to surgery. And I don't mean like skinny and lean. I was just like muscle. Like I was in the gym, crazy working out, crazy eating well, because I wanted to feel like I set my body up to heal in the best way. I wanted to make sure that I was like in love with my body as well, because my last surgeries that I had prior, they do kick your ass mentally and emotionally. And I think that when you go into surgery, you're like, I'm so excited to have new boobs, but you forget that like they're going to look a lot worse before they look better. And you look worse and you feel worse. And so I think that if you go into surgery looking your best, you're kind of like able to keep the tunnel vision of like, this is just like a short time. This is a few weeks. And then I'll be able to get right back to it. And I think that doing that made me more motivated and disciplined to eat really, really well. Not like I wasn't, like I said, starving, but it was like I had already been eating this way. So I'm going to continue to eat this way because this is what makes my body feel good and look good and thrive. And so it was easy for me to continue to do that because I had that practice like leading up to it.
Definitely. And would you say that's kind of like the biggest lesson you've learned on this surgical journey?
Yeah, I think that, and really, really listening to the post-op instructions, because I have had so many women reach out to me and so many women admit to not following the post-op instructions and care. And I think they want to reach out to me rather than tell their surgeon what they did. So they're like, girl, oh my God, I did this and now this is happening. Like, is that normal?
Yeah.
And I would say, like, did you pick your kid up? Did you pick up something heavy? Like, were you in the gym too soon? Did you? And then most of them would be like, yeah. And they would like admit it to me. And I went into surgery telling myself like, oh, I'm going to hit it super hard when I get in the gym at 6 weeks. And I do that to like mind fucked myself, like into thinking that like, oh, you're just going to get right back into it. Even though I knew I would probably take a slower approach.
Definitely.
I think that it was so easy for me because I was in such like good shape. A lot of girls like, oh, it's hard for me to get in and out of bed. And I was like, I had no issues. Because Hoxie, they were very clear about like hugging myself for my lift. They're like, don't use your arms for anything.
Act like those arms are broken.
I did. And because I was in such good shape, I could stand up from the ground without needing to be helped up. I could get up from bed without needing help. I could, I was able to do a lot myself because I had like the core and the leg strength that I wasn't dependent on my arms. So I really did not use my arms for anything at all.
Yes, so good. And are you finally happy with your results?
Yes, I am like so stoked. I told the girl I was talking to earlier, I was like, if I could post without a bra on, I would post for you guys so you can see, because like they look so good. Like, and I had said in my post, I didn't realize that ultra high or high profile meant like out. I thought it was like cleavage up here. And the only thing I was self-conscious about with those last ones was how far they stuck out, because I am so tall that they were in people's faces. So I would kind of hunch over because I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, I don't want to poke your eye out with my nipple. Like, that might come out of my shirt because I don't know if it's, in anywhere. So I love that they're like, I have the cleavage, right? Which I love. But then from the side, they're like pretty small to my body. They don't really stick out, which I love. They did wonders on my areolas. I had no idea that they like stretched out from the last one I had. But I was looking, well, when we got these, my husband was just like, oh my God, like your nipples are so like tiny and your areolas are so tiny compared to my other ones were like freaking sand dollars.
Oh my God.
And I didn't, like, you don't know, again, right? Because it doesn't happen overnight.
You don't know.
It's like a day by day. So then I was like looking at the pictures I had sent Hochstein and I was like, my God, like these are tiny. And it's nice because I don't have to have someone on areola alert because they're going to slide out of the shirt.
Are my nips out? Are the girls good? Are the nips good? Yeah. I feel you.
And then his scars, I have people ask all the time, his scars from my breast lift are like thinner than a strand of hair.
Ooh, he has a good suture game.
Yeah, which is part of why I wanted to go to him, because my clients that had gone also had breast lifts and they showed me in person, right? They're like, oh, look, like the scars are crazy good. And I was like, what the hell? Because my last ones that I had, like, I don't know if they blew out, but they were like wide, very wide. So that has been super nice to not feel, because I was self-conscious about the scars just because they were so like wide.
Of course. Yeah. And that's totally reasonable. Is there anything else that you've ever considered having done, or?
So I did. So I'm fine with being like dramatic and like over the top with what I asked for. And so I had asked in Hochstein's office, I was like, hey, do you guys do ab etching? Even though I have abs, right? I was like, why not? If I'm under, let's make them even more better.
Define.
I know that's not good grammar, but yeah, I'm like, you know what? Let's get them. And they said no. They said it doesn't, I don't know if they were saying it doesn't age well, but they were saying over time it's not a good outcome. And they just said no. And I was like, I love that, because they didn't say like, oh, but we can do this.
Yeah,
or, oh,
not trying to supplement like a money grab. Like they were just
and they
like,
probably
no,
were
girl.
like, girl, like you're lean, like pipe down and just go away, which I appreciate because I need that. Like I get filler, and my girl that I go to my filler is, I'll walk in, I'm like, so, and she's like, get out.
I love a no. You need a no person in your life. You just need a no
I
person.
definitely do. Yeah, for sure. So I would have done that. I don't have anything else in mind. I think, yeah, I saw the rib thing, like you could take like your
Rib
ribs out.
remodeling.
And I'm like, okay, like that's a little dramatic, Cheyenne. But again, I have a really bad rib flare from sucking it. And I'm trying to like fix that. I'm watching all kinds of videos and trying to fix that. And I'm like, it's not that dramatic. You don't need to cut your rib off, but like for sure thought about it. For sure.
The results, I do see them. They come up on my For You page all the time. I work with the surgeon, Dr. Andre Marshall in Beverly Hills, that does amazing rib remodeling. And I always see his before and afters. And I'm like, wait.
Yeah.
But no, I feel
enticing.
you. What's next for you, Miss Cheyenne? Are you going to continue to share your surgery journey and educate and help women? What's next for you on social media?
Yeah, so I'm trying right now. I'm working on getting a few things out that girls have been asking for as far as like post-op workout guides and kind of helping women through that. I've had a lot asking for kind of like coaching or the emotional support from me. So I'm just kind of trying to navigate that while working full time, like in the salon, so that I can be more available, just because I think that is lacking in this industry as far as having the preparation for all of the emotional and like mental aspects of it that come along with
surgery, because it does, whether the surgery is large or small, that emotional and mental effect, it plays effect on everybody. Sometimes it's going to be stronger than others, but trust me, honey, it'll hit you, whether it's week 1, day 1, year 1. It'll get you when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Well, Cheyenne, thank you so much for coming on the pod and sharing your story so openly. I honestly know that you are helping so many women make more informed decisions, honestly.
Thank you.
Of course. And if you girls enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone considering a breast augmentation. Cheyenne, so excited to see what's in store for you and all your posts. It's going to be so good.
Thank you.
Of course. And all right, dolls, we'll see you next week. Bye.